Well, Nathan Perez, right? Well, it's an easy word. Why am I having trouble with it? And the 20-minute communications, or actually, your website is really easier. It's 20mnm.com, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
And you're really, I guess, one of the country's experts about how to handle a meeting for getting a job, right? I mean, you're
Right.
the guy that people come to. I mean, Fortune 500 companies and everything. You've been getting jobs for everybody for years and years now. Now you came out with this cool little book that gives it to the average guy. I mean, no matter what kind of job I get, you're going to tell me how to be magic. So how do people screw this up? Why do they screw up in these interviews and stuff like that?
Well, when it comes to networking meetings, some people are nervous. Some people are afraid of asking for help. And some people are, well, the other side of the table, because there's two sides of the table. The other side of the table, people are a little bit afraid that it's going to go and turn into this hour-long willy-nilly thing where it's not, structured. It's not a meeting. All meetings got to have this beginning, middle, and end. But sometimes it gets off track, and now you've lost an hour. So some people are hesitant to do it, and other people are hesitant to have the meetings.
I see. Because in other words, if someone's talking to me and they're coming up and the first thing on their mouth, they're thinking about a job and shit. I don't know. I don't want to be trapped with this guy who's
That's right.
yeah. So you develop the skills that people need to not only make feel comfortable, but get in, get out, and not make anybody uncomfortable, and get your job done in the meantime.
That's exactly it. What we did when we built the book, we just made some steps and we made it real easy. And not just for the person who reads the book to go to follow the steps, but we made it real easy for the person who's in the networking meeting too, so that it just follows a pattern. It only takes 20 minutes and you get as much information as possible out of it, so that it's not everyone knows what to expect on only 20 minutes rather than a whole hour-long conversation.
I see. So networking, really, you're talking about like trying to contact people, anybody you could think of who may be helpful in getting you a job. They may have jobs, they may not, but they may know somebody does. They may know companies who have. You, man, if you're looking for help, man, you want to kick over every possible stone, right? So
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, this is how to approach these people. Then is what you're saying.
Absolutely. And the thing is sometimes I think we hear about networking as we got to find the right people, and there's only certain people who are able to help us. But the fact of the matter is no matter who you know, no matter who this person is, or whoever you have ever met, let's go one step further. That person is an extended part of your network. It just might be dormant. But when you reach out and you ask for help, then you bring that network back to life. And you never know what one person can offer you a piece of information that gets you to your next step, whether that's to a job or for sales or whatever it may be. But you can never know until you ask for that help.
So it doesn't mean I have to belong to the country club to have a networking meeting, huh?
That's right. That's exactly right.
So this could happen anywhere, and people you know or casually know or whatever is when you approach them. I mean, how to get that idea across simply and not have them work for you, right?
But it's exactly it. If I were to come to you and I were just to say, hey, do you think you could help me find a job? That's a real hard approach, and that other person might be a little reluctant to help you. But if I said, hey, can I sit down with you for 20 minutes? I have 3 questions I want to ask you, and I'm only going to stick to 20 minutes. Do you think you could take the time? And the other person might be likely to sit down with you. You've said it's 20 minutes and you said it's only 3 questions. Much closer.
And so then what's the layout of the questions that you go through?
Well, so what we did is we broke it down into the 5 most important parts of a networking meeting. And it's a great first impression. And everything that I'm going to tell you, it's not a bag of tricks. You'll note that it's kind of common sense. So it's a great first impression, and then a real brief overview of what your experience has been so far, because you want to kind of give them an idea of where you've come from and what you've done. And then a great discussion, and that's where those 3 questions come in that I mentioned. It's just 3 questions. And then the next thing after that is wrapping up the meeting. And then the next thing after that is just staying in touch with them. to keep the network alive over the course of time.
Because in our lives, then you're right. I mean, if someone came to me looking for a job, I don't have anything. But if they tell me more about themselves, then my ears, my antenna goes up when I'm doing work otherwise. That hey, this guy may want to know about this, kind of thing.
That's exactly it. The more stuff that you end up having to talk about, the more that person's trying to keep track of. And if it's too much, then you never really know how to get back to what it is that we really want to be talking about. But if it's just a snapshot, because like I said, we give a time limit to each one of these 5 parts.
So and the first part is what? What's the first part again?
Well, the first part is a great first impression.
First impression, okay.
Making eye contact and shaking hands and explaining how it is that you got there. And, it's just a little bit of warm up, just a couple of minutes of chit chat.
And so you really block it out. So it sounds like people should really practice this somehow before they get out in the street anyway, to make sure, do this. Because all of us say, oh, I got to go look for a job. And they think, but you're getting on stage. And if you don't rehearse a little bit, right?
That's right. That's right. This is something that, we can sum it up just like this. This is your career. You're trying to find a job. This is something you want to take a little time with and be able to present yourself well and be able to articulate what it is that you have done so that person can understand. And while you might not get a job in that moment, that person remembers everything that you've said over some time and goes, I just had a meeting with someone who has a background a lot like that. Why don't I give you their phone number?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, I got to get a job. I do a resume and go out. But it's really, you have to really get more organized than that. And it seems like that's what your book does, is help anybody looking for work get organized mentally, getting the details, and not that they're so offensive, and practice like anything. You don't go out and just hit a golf ball the first time and get a hole in one, right?
Some practice. It takes some practice. It's okay to rehearse it. You walk around the living room and talk out.
Exactly. Oh, that's too long. I talked about myself for 12 minutes,
That's right.
Oh, that's wonderful. So now, you were really a professional executive recruiter for many years, right?
That's right. I'm a little bit different. Okay, so for those that might not understand how it works, the kind of company that I work for is hired by other companies when they need new leaders. So if you've ever wondered how a president gets their job, it's not from the newspaper in a want ad, right? It usually comes through networking or through recruiters. And recruiters, what they do is they call people up that are qualified and say, hey, I have an opportunity if you want to talk about this. But I wasn't one of those guys. I was actually the person responsible for making a strategy as to how to find candidates, how to find qualified candidates. So I have a little bit different angle than a lot of people do when it comes to, how to build a resume or how to network, because that was a major part of my job.
Well, you have a bigger overview at that, and instead of just bringing in meat, or whatever.
That's right.
Yeah, you're more a strategy. Well, this is the 20-minute communications, right? And it's really MaryNancyMary.com, right? And you get the books there. They're very reasonable, and and I see it's even on Kindle. I listen to Kindle when I exercise, so good. I could get it on a Kindle. And then you have another one coming out soon that you're working on now at your parents' place in Colorado for college kids coming out. They need jobs too, right?
That's right. That's right. I was a kid when I was in college, and maybe some of your viewers relate to this, but I didn't know how to get out. I didn't know what was next. We're taught, right? For so many years, we're taught what to do and how to do it, but then you graduate and no one tells you what's next. And I happen to know so many years later from professional experience that the most important part of a job search, and you can ask anybody in a hiring position this, is networking. So now I'm building a college edition of that same book.
Networking, yeah. And it could be on the internet, it could be in your neighborhood, it could be anywhere. It
could be anywhere.
Right. Talking to people to let them know who you are and what you're looking for and how to say it in a nice way. Well, we're glad you're here, Nathan, and thank you for helping the rest of us stumble through life. Yeah.
Thank you too.
So that's MNM.com.
That's right. It, 20mnm.com.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you too.